6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. Over 1,000 new COVID-19 cases detected in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka confirms another 20 coronavirus deaths. Mobile vaccination centres to administer the booster dose. Gem merchants can play a major role to revive the economy. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga expresses confidence that Sri Lanka can recover from the current economic woes within a few months. The export sector marks a successful 2021, posts 23% growth, musters $15.1 billion in revenue. 2 detained for egg attack on Anura Kumara's car. In news overseas, North Korea missile tests, biggest launch since 2017. In sports news, Australian Open, Rafael Nadal beats Daniil Medvedev from 2 sets down in Melbourne Epic. The Health Ministry says another 1,056 persons have tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday as the country's daily count of new COVID-19 cases surpassed 1,000 once again after 4 months. Out of the 1,054 persons to test positive for the virus yesterday, 2 individuals had arrived in the country from overseas, while the rest are community infections. This is the first time that the daily count of new COVID-19 cases in the country has exceeded 1,000 since the end of September last year. Meanwhile, the tally of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far climbs to 610,103 with this. Army Commander General Shavindra Silva says that a special vaccination program will be implemented in the coming weeks. Accordingly, mobile vaccination centres will be deployed to administer the booster dose, he said. Speaking during an event in Diatalava, he said that there has been an increase in COVID-19 infections over the past couple of days and therefore urges the people who have not yet received the booster dose to get it as soon as possible. The Army Chief said that under the instructions of the President, the country's Tri-Forces personnel, including members of the Sri Lanka Army, were utilized to commence special vaccination centres in order to vaccinate every citizen of the country. He said that they are expecting to administer the vaccine through mobile centres within the next 2 weeks. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Ratnapura gem industry stakeholders can play a major role in reviving the COVID-19 affected economy in the near future. The Minister of Transport Pavitra Vanyarachi said. She was speaking after laying the foundation stone for the 7-storied gem city complex in Ratnapura, which is to be constructed at a cost of 950 million rupees. The mixed development centre would have 2 gem shops, a gallery, a cinema hall, a shopping mall, restaurants and several other features, including a large car park. She said that the proposed centre would be marketed internationally, allowing international gem trade also to take place, while also attracting tourists and international gem buyers to the venue. She also thanked the Mayor of Ratnapura, Tiron Aptanayaka, for consenting to build this complex from their own funds without any loans. The GCE Advanced Level Examination will be held from February 7th to March 5th at 2,438 examination centres island-wide. The Commissioner General of Examinations, MD Dharmasena, said a total of 345,248 school and private candidates are sitting for the GCE Advanced Level Examination. He added 29 specialised examination centres will be set up for candidates in government hospitals for those who have contracted the COVID-19 disease. This time, 316 examination coordinating centres will be functioning for the 2,438 examination centres, and each examination centre has a special room or 2 reserved for quarantine students. The examination department also announces to contact the Commissioner General of Examinations at 0714 679 679 for further details and to inform of any fraud or irregularity at the examination. A group of individuals had reportedly hurled eggs at the vehicle of JVP leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka at the Gampaha District Convention of the National People's Power, which was held in Kalagadihena yesterday. Party supporters had managed to capture 2 individuals involved in the incident and hand them over to the police. The convention was held at a private reception hall in Kalagadihena, while as the leader was arriving at the venue, several persons who had gathered near its entrance had thrown eggs at his car. Party supporters had captured 2 individuals suspected of being involved, while they have claimed that they had arrived with a group of around 16 others who had immediately fled the scene. The suspects were handed over to the Nittambua police. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 20 coronavirus-related deaths for yesterday, pushing the country's death toll from the virus since the start of the pandemic to 15,420. This includes 13 males and 7 female patients, while surprisingly 3 of the victims, 2 males and a female, are below the age of 30 years. Once again, this includes 13 males and 7 female patients, while surprisingly 3 of the victims, 2 males and a female, are below the age of 30 years. 5 are between the ages 30 to 59 years, while the other 12 are in the age group of 60 years and above. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said the COVID-19 pandemic was the main reason for the country's economic crisis and that the country could recover from it in the next few months if it could continue without locking the country down. He said if the country has to close again, the current crisis could aggravate. Quote, dollar crunch is a prime reason for many of the crises the country has suffered today. The actual reason for the problems such as gas shortage, fuel and electricity. The government had to bear a huge cost to control the COVID-19 pandemic, unquote. He said these at a meeting held in Udugampala yesterday.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, the health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the coronavirus infections cross the 1,000 mark for the first time in 4 months. This cannot be taken easy, the health authorities warn. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requests the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He points out that 800 to 900 coronavirus patients are still being reported daily from the country. Therefore, he emphasises that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public acts irresponsibly.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines, North Korea missile tests biggest launch since 2017. Shankar the elephant plea to send lonely African animal home from India. Ukraine-Russia tensions, British troops unlikely to fight. North Korea has conducted what is thought to be its biggest missile launch since 2017. It said the ballistic missile was an intermediate range Hwasong-12. Japan and South Korea said it reached a maximum altitude of 2,000 kilometers before coming down in the Sea of Japan. Both countries have condemned the launch, the 7th test this month. The UN prohibits North Korea from ballistic and nuclear weapons tests and has imposed strict sanctions. 24 years ago, a young elephant named Shankar was plucked from the wilderness of Africa, loaded onto a plane to India and placed in the Delhi Zoo. Now, a plea in the city's High Court seeks to send him back home. The petition filed by 16-year-old Nikita Dhawan, founder of the non-profit Youth for Animals, alleges that Shankar has been living in isolation for years. It demands that he be removed from the zoo and rehabilitated in a wildlife sanctuary that houses other African elephants. It also accuses zoo authorities of mistreating the animal. The BBC contacted officials, but they declined to comment. There is a real threat of Russia invading Ukraine, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has warned, but it is very unlikely British soldiers would be deployed to fight in any conflict. Instead, she said, the UK was sending weapons to Ukraine and strengthening its sanction system, so oligarchs close to the Kremlin had nowhere to hide. She said the UK was also offering extra support to nearby NATO allies. Any invasion would be terrible for Europe, Ms. Truss told the BBC. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. North Korea missile biggest launch since 2017. Shankar the elephant plea to send lonely African animal home from India. Ukraine-Russia tensions, British troops unlikely to fight.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
In a significant move aimed at expanding cross-border trade and investment, the foreign ministers of Sri Lanka and Turkey signed an agreement on the avoidance of double taxation during the latter's visit to the island nation. Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires had underscored the warm, cordial and mutually supportive partnership existing between Sri Lanka and Turkey at a bilateral meeting with the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Turkey, Mevlut Cavusoglu. On Friday, the Foreign Ministry said.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And now in sports news, in tennis, Rafael Nadal won a record 21st Grand Slam men's title in the most stunning fashion, fighting back from 2 sets down to beat Russia's Daniil Medvedev in a classic Australian Open final. Backed by a loud Melbourne crowd, 6-seed Nadal rallied to win 2-6, 6-7, 5-7, 6-4, 6-4, 7-5 on Rod Laver Arena. US Open champion Medvedev was going for his second successive major title.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's tea production in 2021 rose 9.3% to 305 million kilograms from a year ago, despite the fertilizer crisis, Plantation Minister Ramesh Patirana said. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa banned chemical fertilizers overnight from April last year, citing they are harmful for public health. Tea industry feared production loss due to lack of chemical fertilizers, as well as change in the taste and other characteristics of Ceylon tea, which is globally popular.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka's export sector marked a successful year in 2021, registering a 23% growth or $15.1 billion from the exports of the goods and services, said Suresh Dimel, the chairman of the Export Development Board of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka increased exports by 23% amidst a challenging environment faced both locally and globally, and merchandise exports hit the highest ever in the history by reaching the $12.14 billion mark.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says mainly dry weather will continue to prevail over most parts of the island. Fairly cold weather can be expected during the early morning. There is a possibility of ground frost at some places in the Nuwara Eliya district during the early hours of the morning. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, central, Sabaragama, north central and Uva provinces and in the Kurunegala, Gala and Mathura districts during the morning. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 30 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 25 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 26, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That was the weather report. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Over 1,000 new COVID-19 cases detected in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka confirms another 20 coronavirus deaths. Mobile vaccination centres to administer the booster dose. Gem merchants can play a major role to revive the economy. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga expresses confidence that Sri Lanka can recover from the current economic woes within a few months. The export sector marks a successful 2021, posts a 23% growth, musters $15.1 billion in revenue. 2 detained for egg attack on Anura Kumara's car. In news overseas, North Korea missile tests, biggest launch since 2017. In sports news, Australian Open, Rafael Nadal beats Daniil Medvedev from 2 sets in Melbourne Epic. That concludes this news broadcast.